Rise and shine, everyone. Welcome back to DEGREELESSNESS, the home of the meanest people on the internet. I'm your host, Shanghai Pete. Thank you so much for chilling with us tonight. Yup, it's that time again. Time to get deep inside this horror show we call gaming and culture in 2020. Ugh, even saying that year out loud makes me a little sick to my stomach. Anyway, let's get right into the fuckery with our recap of the week. First up, it's time for loot boxes to be back in the news. Oh, hooray! I bet you were just counting the days. Who doesn't like rehashing the same exact talking points over and over ad nauseum while nothing changes? Apparently, there is still more to discuss, though I can't fathom what. We know they're gambling, we know the entire industry is predatory and manipulative, and we know that no one will do anything about it because currently the industry is allowed to regulate itself. So, why are we talking about this again? Well, apparently the National Health Service in the UK just released a report saying that, yes, careful examination of evidence find this shit is fucking gambling! Oh, well, fuck my stupid asshole, guys. If only there were years and years of evidence and examples practically screaming this exact conclusion. Where the fuck have y'all been? Now, just because it's taken these people what feels like an eternity to reach a conclusion anyone with half a brain would have seen as clearly self-evident doesn't mean we should be so hard on them. Doesn't mean that I don't think it's good that they're actually, saying something. It is good. We all know nothing will ever stop these companies. They won't regulate themselves. You have to force them. And the more reports that come out confirming this kind of stuff, the easier it will eventually be. So I'm reluctantly forced to agree that yes, while far too late and woefully inadequate, this still technically qualifies as good. Fucking hooray. Now, though, something else that I do want to highlight really quick, and what I'd argue is actually more of an issue here, is just how off the mark the entire conversation about this kind of shit has gotten. Like, you even hear people who supposedly champion consumer rights and stuff like Yong Ya saying, oh, these companies have a responsibility to ensure these games are monetized properly and responsibly. Dude, what? Now they even have you parroting industry talking points. Lest we forget, games are already monetized. When you fucking buy them, they should not be monetized again ever unless it's for actual content like an expansion. The conversation should be how the monetization needs to fucking stop completely, not how it just needs to be done differently or more responsibly. Good God. We can't trust these companies to operate ethically, even in areas where children are fucking concerned. So what chance do you think there is that they will operate responsibly and with care for their consumers in other areas? I'm done talking about this shit. I don't care if it's loot boxes, which are obviously gambling to any ethical, clear-minded person, or 99 cents for a reticle. Any type of monetization in games is fucking bullshit and I will not stand for it. Oh, this just in, a quick follow-up in case you thought this was actually going to do anything. The UKIE, the United Kingdom Interactive Entertainment Association, basically their equivalent of the ESA, so you know they're a bunch of slimy evil cocksuckers, wasted no time in rushing out a quick misdirection by saying, oh hey, don't worry idiots, we know the National Health Service put out this report, but there's no problem, we've made a website, so it's all good. No need to worry about loot boxes, boys. We've taken care of everything. There's a website, case closed. Now, I'm not going to insult anyone by addressing this or going into detail about it as though it were, an actual attempt to do anything other than provide the industry plausible deniability so that they can continue to milk their bullshit monetization as long as possible. Everyone knows that's what it is. No one needs me to point out how utterly pathetic and transparent it is. Okay? Putting up a website doesn't absolve anyone of responsibility. You are intentionally profiting off children and vulnerable people. You know you are. We know you are. So fuck out of here with all that. Any game, for any reason, that has even the potential to ask me to spend more money after I've already paid for it, I refuse to consider as a legitimate game and can get fucked. Especially if it's a game that says it's okay for children on its fucking box, but then expects you to set parental controls for it if you want to make sure it doesn't use your kids to rob you. Jesus fucking Christ. Awesome. Well, from one disaster on to the next. Yup, we gotta talk about Star Trek Picard. I'm sorry if those of you who listen to this aren't really Star Trek fans. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, so I need to fucking address this bullshit. Star Trek Picard is bad. We all knew it would be, but like, god damn. It is everything that you hoped it would not be. It's basically Discovery, but they've stuffed poor old Picard in there so we can get a little bit of that IP ruining scum to rub off on him as well. Wasn't enough that they created new characters in our genre media to ruin, they've now got to destroy some of the previously existing and already beloved characters as well. So, thanks guys. Yep, you already know, this is the same bullshit as Discovery. New canon, same weird dystopian vibe for some reason. That's basically the antithesis of what Star Trek is supposed to be about. Like, we wanted fucking Picard on a goddamn ship, being in charge of a fucking ship. You take Picard off the bridge of a starship and he's just some old guy. Like, Picard doesn't have superpowers, he's not some incredible commando, he's a ship captain. That's what makes him a fucking badass. What place in any story does he have if he's not on the bridge of a ship? Why the fuck would you ever make a show about Jean-Luc Picard, possibly the most famous, most iconic, most beloved fictional ship captain ever, and not put him on a goddamn ship? Like, holy Christ, it's so goddamn bad I can barely speak. And that's not even getting into the fact that he's playing second fiddle to yet another Mary Sue character who's practically been drowned in the girl that's the key to everything trope. It is horrible. This is just yet another case where the people who made it knew exactly what fans wanted and then made a conscious decision to do the exact opposite for God knows what fucking reason. Sure, yeah, there's a lot of rights fuckery where the Star Trek IP is concerned. That's true. But it's hard to imagine that they couldn't have found some way around that if they really wanted to. We wanted Picard, the starship captain, to be on a fucking starship. We don't want to see him old and decrepit and sad after having left Starfleet. We don't want Picard to leave Starfleet. It's part of who he is. It's an integral part of his character's identity. For fuck's sake, we wanted to finally see the story evolve after the travesty that was the movie Nemesis. We wanted fucking Star Trek, and this is not it. If you must watch this, please grab a torrent or something, send the fucking clowns at CBS a message, and don't pay for this trash. Alright, moving on. Sorry about that, I had to get it out. We now need to take just a moment to mention Cyberpunk 2077. As most of you probably know, it's been delayed to September. Yeah, that totally fucking sucks. We all would have definitely wanted to wait less time for it, but I mean, let's be real here. This is a CD Projekt Red game, and you know what that means. They are the rare studio that actually deserves the benefit of the doubt from us. So you know what? We're gonna give it to them, at least until such point as they fuck up and demonstrate that they no longer deserve it. So yeah, Cyberpunk being delayed is total balls. But as many other people have said, including the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto, a delayed game is eventually good. So if they need a few more months, I mean, fuck, they can have it. The last time they asked for a little more time, we got The Witcher 3, one of the best games of the past decade. So as long as they keep putting out games of that quality, you know, take all the fucking time you need. And yes, before we move on, I know there's all this talk about crunch and bullshit, but mostly because that topic is clickbait at this point, none of the people whining about that actually give a fuck about it. As I've discussed in a previous video, crunch, mandatory overtime, whatever euphemism you want to give to it, is everywhere. It's never going to stop. It's a staple of every fucking industry. So please, unless you're gonna put your money where your mouth is and actually not buy a game by one of these AAA developers for once, please kindly shut the fuck up. The rest of us are getting tired of listening to your virtue signaling. And now, before we wrap up this edition of the Weekly Recap, we do have just a little bit of Blizzard housekeeping to get through. That's right, you slimy fuckers, you thought we were going to skip right over your bullshit this week, but oh no, sorry to disappoint. First off, Blizzard have continued their shameless and nauseating trend of trying to trick people into paying for 6 months of a content drought in World of Warcraft. They do it at least once a year, and this year is no exception. That's right, the inevitable letdown of their latest patch, 8.3, had barely even sunk in when they rushed out to bribe you with a stupid fucking mount. If, of course, you pay for another 6 months. Ugh, God, I hate it when they do this shit. We know that you don't give a shit about your players, but Like, would it kill you to at least pretend that you do, even a little bit? So embarrassing. Now, as some of you know, I play Classic pretty actively, so I'll be subbed anyway, but I sure as fuck will not be giving them 6 months up front, ever. You can fuck right off with that. Now, for those of you wondering whether or not I'm playing patch 8.3, here's a little breakdown of how my brief dalliance with retail went over the past week or so. I logged on for patch day, spent about 2 hours or so to complete the storyline, the initial quest nonsense. Then I did the dailies, the other busy work and login bait that they set up for me, and logged off. No big deal. Spent about 30 minutes each day doing that for the rest of the week. Fine. Boring, but whatever. Their main feature of this patch, the invasions and like the visions, in case you don't know, I'll tell you what they are. They're reused zones and reused locations that they just took a bunch of tentacle models and fucking slapped them on there and then covered them with like a purple filter. That's it. They didn't even make a new fucking area outside of the raid. God damn it. The day the raid opened, went in there with my guild, we cleared it on normal in a little less than 3 hours, and over the next few days, we cleared it on heroic. Then I logged off and haven't been back since. And I will not be back. Now, as much as I love some hardcore HP Lovecraft inspired anything, the content it's just too threadbare. Once you see behind the curtain and recognize all the shitty gameplay loop mechanics for what they are, cheap tricks to fool you into logging in every day, you can't unsee it, and it makes the game just impossible to enjoy and to continue playing. I tried, but I just can't fucking do it. World of Warcraft is dead. I'll see y'all in BWL on Classic. Well, all right. That's our show for tonight. Thank you so much for chilling with us tonight. We love you today. We love you all the way. Sorry to disappoint, but we actually do not have a main story tonight for the simple reason that nothing happened that I gave enough of a fuck about to rant on for 15 or so minutes. So, games industry, you get a week break from being chastised and embarrassed by DEGREELESSNESS. Enjoy it. Anyway, guys, we'll see you all next week. Please remember not to comment, like, or subscribe, because I gotta ask, is that a host that can say go back? Tell me. You didn't pay money for this.